My parents arranged my birthday celebrations party, but beneath that perfect celebration was a secret that would tear their family apart. What happens when the people who raised you steal your future and still expect your forgiveness? For years, I believed in my parents' version of love until one night revealed the cost of my trust. What I lost wasn't just money, but the illusion of belonging. And what I gained was freedom wrapped in truth. Before I continue, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I tell real stories of betrayal, revenge, and quiet justice. The kind of truths that happen behind closed doors in picture-perfect families. Stay till the end, because this isn't just about money. It's about how silence becomes control, and how breaking that silence sets you free. I'm Jessica Monroe, born and raised in Santa Barbara, California, the daughter of David and Caroline Monroe. If you'd seen us from the outside, you'd think we were the American dream. A lawyer father, a socialite mother, a daughter who graduated early and landed a job in corporate communications in Los Angeles. To everyone else, we were success, wrapped in pearls and politeness. But behind closed doors, my family was a contract, not a bond. My parents gave affection only when it made them look good. My achievements were trophies for them to display, and my failures were private shame to be hidden. When I turned 27, Mom called, her voice dripping with sweetness. "Jessie, darling, we're planning a small dinner at the country club for your birthday. Just a few close friends and family. Your grandfather's coming too. Isn't that lovely?" That caught my attention. Grandpa never came to their events. He didn't like pretense. He called my parents actors without scripts. The dinner was held at El Encanto Country Club, chandeliers, white linens, and wine that probably cost more than my rent. Everyone looked at me like I was the reason for the celebration, but as I sat between my smiling parents, something felt wrong. The laughter was too loud, the questions too pointed. My father kept deflecting whenever Grandpa mentioned finances. My mother's hand trembled each time a waiter passed, and when Grandpa finally stood to speak, his voice low, deliberate, the room went still. That's when I knew something was coming. Something that would tear through the glitter and the lies, and show me who my parents truly were. Grandpa William Monroe was never a man of theatrics. He was quiet, deliberate, the kind of person who believed silence could reveal more than words ever could. So when he stood at that dinner table, glass in hand, the entire room stilled. Even the waiters froze mid-step. "I'd like to make a toast," he said, eyes settling on me. "To Jessica, my granddaughter. The smartest, kindest soul in this family." People smiled, lifted their glasses. I forced a polite grin, feeling the weight of his pause. "And to honesty," he added, "something I've found is missing here tonight." The air cracked, so thin, you could hear the clink of forks being set down. My mother's hand tightened on her glass. My father coughed into his napkin. Grandpa set his drink down slowly. "Jessica," he said, "when your grandmother passed, she and I set up a trust in your name. Do you remember me mentioning that?" My heart stuttered. "Barely," I said. "You mentioned something when I was in college, but Mom said you decided against it." He gave a sad smile. That's what I thought she'd say. Every eye turned to my parents. Mom's smile was frozen, the kind you wear for photographs. Dad leaned back in his chair, voice low but sharp. "Dad, this isn't the time." "It's the perfect time," Grandpa interrupted. "Because I've spent months trying to access Jessica's account. The trust that was supposed to transfer to her at 25. The silence grew heavy. My pulse thundered in my ears. Grandpa looked at me again, his tone firm but gentle. "Jessica, there should be $3 million sitting in that account. It's supposed to be yours." "But when I checked..." He looked at my parents, not me. "It's nearly empty." My fork slipped from my hand. The sound echoed across the table like a gunshot. "That's ridiculous," my father snapped, his voice rising. "Dad, you're mistaken." "No," Grandpa said, voice calm as stone. "I'm not." Mom's face drained of color. "William, please, don't do this here." "I'm doing it exactly here," he said. "Because for years you told me Jessica wasn't ready for responsibility. That you were managing her trust wisely. You called it parental guidance. He turned back to me. They didn't guide it, Jessica. They drained it. Every cent. And right there, between the candles and the polished smiles, my world split open. For a moment, nobody moved. The sound of the ocean outside the terrace felt louder than the people sitting around me. Then, like a script they hadn't rehearsed properly, my parents began to talk. Fast, defensive, desperate. "It's not what it sounds like," Mom said, her smile trembling. "Your grandfather doesn't understand how investments work." "Investments?" Grandpa interrupted. "Caroline, you bought a summer home in Malibu with her money," the table gasped. Dad's voice cracked. "It wasn't her money. She's our daughter. Family money is shared." The word shared hit me like glass. "Shared?" I asked softly. "You mean stolen?" Dad's face turned red. "You wouldn't have known what to do with it, Jess. You were 25. You could barely keep up with rent." I stared at him, my pulse pounding. "That's because I was living paycheck to paycheck while you were driving a Tesla I thought the firm paid for." Mom reached for my hand, tears slipping down her face, the kind of tears she only cried when she needed something. "Sweetheart, we didn't steal from you. We used it for the family, for the house, the business, your future." I pulled my hand back. "My future?" My voice cracked. "You took my security, my independence, my future, and you call it love?" The room felt smaller, airless. Guests were whispering, trying to pretend they weren't listening. Grandpa's hand touched my shoulder, steadying me. "Jessica," he said quietly, "I have the records, the withdrawals, the forged signatures." Mom's breath caught. Dad froze. "Forged?" I repeated. Grandpa nodded. "They used your digital authorization to move the funds. The same signature you sent for your college accounts." I stood there, staring at them. The two people who taught me about honesty, about family, about trust. They couldn't even meet my eyes. Mom finally whispered, "We were protecting you." Something inside me, something that had believed their excuses for 27 years, snapped. "No," I said, my voice calm and even. "You were protecting your image." And as the waiters awkwardly cleared the plates, I realized something quietly devastating. I wasn't just their daughter. I was their investment, and they'd already cashed out. I didn't sleep that night. The drive back to Los Angeles was a blur of headlights and half-formed thoughts. I kept hearing my father's voice, "Family money is shared," and my mother's trembling hand trying to hold mine, whispering, "We did it for you." By the time the sun rose, my world had gone completely still. I sat on my apartment floor, surrounded by birthday cards, gifts, and the quiet hum of my phone. Hundreds of missed calls and texts. "Mom, please call me sweetheart. We can fix this. Dad, don't let him turn you against us." I didn't reply. Instead, I called Grandpa. He answered on the first ring. "I figured you wouldn't be sleeping," he said. "I'm not," I whispered. "You said you had records?" He sighed softly. "Yes, bank statements, transfers, even emails. They started draining it 5 years ago." $3 million, I murmured. "That's not a mistake. That's a plan." "Exactly," he said. "They thought they'd never get caught. They assumed you'd never ask. For years, I'd been the obedient daughter, polite, accommodating, careful not to upset them. Now I felt nothing but quiet fire. "What do I do?" I asked. Grandpa's voice was calm. "You don't yell. You don't confront. You build a case. And when the time comes, you let the truth speak for itself." I met with his lawyer that afternoon, a woman named Dana Walsh, sharp-eyed and composed. She flipped through the documents, tapping one with her pen. "This is bad for them. Very bad. Fraud, forgery, breach of trust. You could have them in court within weeks." The idea of suing my parents made my chest ache. Not from guilt, but from grief. It wasn't about revenge. It was about boundaries that should have never been crossed. "Will it ruin them?" I asked quietly. Dana looked at